Hello and welcome to Climate Check with me, Mary Kasoka. I'm coming to you from Kanyama, Ward 13, right here in Kanyama constituency. And behind me, you can see it's a pool of water. And if you are not familiar with what is happening here, you may think this is a river, but it's not a river. This is a flood that is affecting the livelihoods of the people of this community. The rainfall intensity has proven to us yet again that climate change has continued to challenge the way we live. What is the solution to this problem? I'll be talking to some members of this community right here in Kanyama, Ward 13, to find out how they are adapting to the situation. Mulbwanji ndi mwandanzi na yani?
Ndine Grace nzima.
Grace, munganiuza kwa mkala life ya bwanji chifuko cha manzi. Life yanu yachinja mjira ya bwanji.
Life yatu yankala yovutikila mlando wa manzi.
Our lives have become difficult. We have even sent our children to live with our relatives for their safety. The toilets are flooded and it's creating a health hazard.
Manyumba kwatu. So mtendere tulibe, tipempa government titandizire mjira yonse.
We are appealing to the government to help us drain this water and to find a lasting solution.
Mukeko bana banaleka kwenda ku skulu. Tenzo gulisa tinasi ya kugulisa tinkache manyumba mlando wa manzi.
Most children are no longer going to school because of this flood. We can no longer trade or do anything to raise income. We need help.
Tipempa otuombola mavuto haya. Yativu tantawi tali 1 month ya kwana.
Life yatu shupa iswe kuno. Tuwapenga waji indila humaningi.
We have suffered for a long time now, and our children have stopped going to school. We do not have toilet facilities anymore because of the flooding. There is a lot of garbage, and we cannot continue like this.
Tuile budoba busowa mala bishikwa zatu watwabwene so tuwapenga waji indila tulombalo kwa show.
Hii problemu ya nkala kuno ntawe ya Italy ni 2 months.
We've had this flooding for over 2 months. Sanitation is a big challenge. We have no clean drinking water, we have no electricity, and there's a looming epidemic due to the flooding, which has mixed with the sewer system. We are doing our part, but we need a permanent solution.
Cash for week number rate because manzi abo yapezga yaliko kudala. Shilipo ambo kumba ma system ya ma drainage.
We have a drainage problem. Although the cash for work people are here to work, it's a challenge due to the increasing water levels.
Although swankala stuck na manzi. But what kuno kupatia kuno there is stranded na manzi because could be kwa near end.
The most affected are children, persons with disabilities, and the aged. We need a solution to this issue.
Manzi wewe ndiye pushing ma binya aja enda ma drainage.
The other problem is those who dump garbage in the drainages. We need the local authorities to improve garbage collection in this location.
Above tiago do chikuno. Zankara na good development, zankara na what pasa wachetandizo ene, zankara na good development ya mushamani.
Mayezi wonse nchimozi yapaka manje yataka chino na manyumba amangena.
I have lived here for 20 years. We always have flooding, but this year the flooding is worse. We have suffered. My house was flooded and we couldn't live there. At the moment, we are still surrounded by water. Everything has come to a standstill. Government must construct bigger drainages and help us end this flooding.
Drainage so vingo kunkuruza vimanzi vevibwera ukunao. Vichokera mwajoni renge vichumpa matama kivibwera kuno.
Having heard from some residents of Kanyama, Ward 33, we also spoke to some members of the Ward Development Committee in the area.
The situation is very, very bad. Actually, today, this is not the water we're seeing, but the past 3 days, the whole this place was flooded. As a leadership, you know, what we are doing for now, we are using this opportunity of cash for work, whereby we do some drainages, but to this extent, we can't because you can see the water is, Kanyama is too much. So for now, our plan is maybe if we can have some good machinery so that we can do more drainages to push this water to that other side. That's a plan. The plan is to do more drainage. I think it will help. No, it's just a matter of sensitizing and tell them to say that they should keep the children at their homes because of this floods. If they let the children move around, then we have the lot of accidents. The disabled, they have any opportunity to move out from their houses because they can't use their wheelchairs in water. Yeah, so they have to stay. Now, when you stay, those people, they also need to eat, so I think the people who are suffering more is their relatives. So that those people, they need life. I think we had some discussions with some engineers some time back when we had the meetings in Civic Center. We said it's every in and out, every year and every year out there, Kanyama is flooded. Why can't they find the solution so that, this water, this flooded should be ended? So the only solution, as I said before, is to have more drainages. That's the only solution. Then Kanyama to be changed. The message to people of Kanyama is let's put hands together, and then we really appreciate with this government to come, like those people who are living like in the first road and that other sides where these small drainages we are doing for the cash for work. They are not really in that bad status. But for these sites, what we have to do is let's put hands together, let's support the government of the day, and then as we request to the government to send some good machinery for us so that we have these good drainages and this water in Kanyama to end.
We have got a very, very bad situation here in Kanyama. Yes, we did our level best using our cash for work. We tried to dig some drainages, but here where we are standing, we have not yet done that part. So people are really affected. From where we are standing here, to my right-hand side, houses are really flooded. I was here the day before yesterday to do the tour of duty. Yes, we found some families, they've just left their homes like that. They've just locked their homes due to the floods. There are some families that lost their lives when the heavy rain started, more especially in March. Before the ZESCO cut off Kanyama from the main ridge. When electricity is, when a house is electrified and the waters go up to the level where we have got the sockets and some plugs, where we use those for our electric equipments. Immediately you allow the water to enter through those plugs, then it means the whole house, which is full of water, is electrified, and everyone who steps in those waters gets electrocuted. I think the first thing is we are begging to the government, to our government, and to our humble leader, our president, Hakainde Hichilema, and through the DMMU to come to our aid, because some families, they have got the lame people, they have got all the aged, those who cannot go out and look for food. They are just trapped in their houses. So such people, if there are no people that can help them, they are really faced with a situation that they can die due to hunger. The first thing that I think is supposed to be done is sensitization. It's very, very important, because these waters are dirty. They throw diapers and all types of dirty things in these waters. But you can see our children, they play in the same water, which can cause cholera and some other diseases. So we need to sensitize our members about the dirty and the danger that can be found in the waters. Then secondly, we need to look at some alternatives. Those who are able to be relocated, for example, if they are there let them be talked to, and if possible, relocated to some other places.
Now, having heard from some of the residents of this part of Kanyama constituency, it is very clear that life has become very difficult for them and adaptation is needed than ever before. Any efforts and considered thoughts around adaptation could be very useful for this community. You are watching Climate Check. After the break, we take you to Mulungushi International Conference Center, where a meeting took place which is aimed at addressing challenges such as the flooding happening in Kanyama. Now imagine if trees could provide Wi-Fi, just how many trees you would plant? Well, they provide oxygen. We definitely cannot do without it. Destruction of nature, such as forests, has led to irreversible climatic changes to our world. Join me as I talk to policy formulators, change makers, and climate change interest groups on Climate Check, weekly on this channel. Now you are the solution to climate change. Talking about flooding as an issue that requires climate change adaptation because of the rainfall intensity could not have come at the right time, because recently the University of Zambia under the Geography School and Environmental Studies held an event at Mulungushi International Conference Center under the Clear Exchange 2025 media launch, where they are focusing on linking research to action. And when we talk about action, we mean finding permanent solutions to issues like this flooding right here in Kanyama. Let's find out what happened at this launch of the Clear Exchange 2025 media launch program. In order to enhance data-driven climate action, the University of Zambia under the Geography and Environment Studies Department recently held a Climate Adaptation and Resilience Exchange Forum 2025, which was a groundbreaking gathering dedicated to advancing research towards climate resilience and adaptation frameworks across regions. Dr. Gilbert Siame, the project lead, gave an overview.
Over 400,000 people affected by flood. How do we deal with that in one community? That's where research needs to come in. Difficult as it may be, we need to really get to the depth of why people live in areas that are flooded, even when they know that next year they'll be flooded, the other year they'll be flooded, and 10 years from now they'll be flooded, and they are still there, and they'll still be there. That's one of the questions we're answering in our research. How then do we make a difference in such a situation, especially in contexts where even passing a 1 meter drain system or drain infrastructure is nearly impossible?
Dr. Siame also announced the upcoming Climate Adaptation and Resilience Exchange Conference to be held in Lusaka.
Now, when we hear CLARE, it sounds like a name of a person. It is a name of a global research program that stands for Climate Adaptation and Resilience. It is a global action-oriented research focusing on generating evidence that connects and speaks to investment priorities for adaptation and resilience. It is in total £110 million, with 90% funded by the British government through Foreign and Commonwealth Development Office. And the other 10% is funded by Canada, in the University of Zambia, in collaboration with IDRC and government agencies, are co-convening this conference, which will happen in May 2025.
Speaking at the event, Minister of Green Economy and the Environment, Mike Mposha, called for practical steps to linking research to actionable solutions towards climate adaptation and resilience. The minister was represented by Director Green Economy and Climate Change at the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment, Ephraim Mwepya Shitima.
Zambia is experiencing the tangible consequences of climate change manifested in increasing erratic rainfall patterns, prolonged and intensified droughts, and extreme high temperatures. These climatic shifts are not merely environmental concerns, they pose significant threats to our national food security, the livelihoods of our citizens, and overall socio-economic development. Further, the energy sector, which is critical for our economic prospects, is increasingly vulnerable to these climate-induced challenges, and we just experienced the worst drought ever affecting energy generation, as you know. It is therefore imperative that we address these pressing issues without any further delay. Through platforms like Clear Exchange 2025, we have an opportunity to leverage research and adopt climate adaptation strategies, particularly in the densely populated areas. Under the theme, Co-Creating Climate and Adaptation Resilience Narratives, this forum will bring together research experts from Africa, Asia, Europe, and North America to share knowledge and explore solutions that build evidence-based resilience. I invite all stakeholders, researchers, academia, policymakers, civil society, private sector, and the media, and local communities to actively participate in climate adaptation and resilience building efforts and leverage outcomes from the Clear Exchange Forum. We await with anticipation outcomes that can help us build resilient communities and foster real change. Together, we can build a climate-resilient Zambia, Africa, and the world at large. It is now my honor and privilege to launch the Clear Exchange 2025 here, and I thank you for your kind attention.
And University of Zambia Vice-Chancellor Professor Mundia Muya said there was need to develop data-driven climate models, improved early warning systems, and renewable energy technologies that could mitigate the impact of extreme weather conditions.
The University of Zambia, through the Center for Urban Research and Planning, is honored to serve as a local organizing team for this forum, reinforcing our dedication to evidence-based climate action. At the University of Zambia, we recognize that climate change is not just a challenge, but an opportunity to drive innovative research and academic excellence. Our commitment to sustainability is reflected in the work being done within the School of Natural and Applied Sciences, where we offer specialized courses and cutting-edge research in climate science, environmental management, and sustainable development. By equipping students with the necessary knowledge and skills, we are ensuring that the next generation of professionals is ready to tackle climate challenges head-on. Beyond research, ladies and gentlemen, the university is committed to community engagement and capacity building. We are actively working with policymakers, local authorities, and grassroots organizations to ensure that our findings translate into actionable solutions. The Clear Exchange 2025 Forum is a testament to our shared commitment to fostering solutions through science, innovation, and collaboration. As we welcome program researchers from various continents, in May, we must leverage this opportunity to forge partnerships that will drive meaningful progress and in climate resilience. I encourage all stakeholders to support academic initiatives in climate research. Together, we can build a future where knowledge leads to action and science informs policy.
It's important to recognize that we are living in a changing world today where some are even questioning the existence of climate change. And this is why it's very important that Africa, who, although they only contribute, African countries contribute an estimated 2 to 3% of global emissions, your countries are some of the most impacted by the effects of changing global temperatures, especially when many of your industries are still reliant on nature and rain-fed agriculture. So it's really important that more of the story, more of the global narrative around climate change is being told by Africa, and that's in global forums such as our climate meetings around the world, of which there are many, and in particular with IPCC, so that there is more of the African story, more evidence being told. And I think that's why the UK and Canada is working on Southern research partnerships. These are important to us because the evidence needs to come from here.
The climate change is actually a very complex matter, and it has many, many dimensions. So when you look at the solutions, there are solutions that relate to mitigation, to adaptation, and for the School of Natural and Applied Sciences in particular, where I am Dean, there are several projects that are looking at the issue of climate change from different perspectives. So, for example, you have the CLARE exchange project that we are discussing here. We have the Fractal project. There was the project FSNDC that was mentioned. This is in partnership with the EU and FAO. It has taken a totally different strategy altogether. It's looking at energy, more pushing towards renewable energy and modeling energy systems and seeing what would be the most optimal energy mix for this country if we have to chart a sustainable energy pathway in relation to climate change. But there is also an aspect where that project is actually focusing on changes in the curriculum, how we can integrate climate change, starting from kindergarten all the way to university level, so that there is awareness of climate change issues. All those are actually talking to solutions. We also have a solar energy center at in the School of Natural and Applied Science, which has been playing a leading role since the 1980s, in the issues of renewable energy and solar, to the extent that now we can actually see that many of us are actually adopting solar energy in response to climate change. So the solutions are many. But I think that there are some areas where we've had a gap as a country. For instance, when you look at the drought that we faced, it's inevitable sometimes to have droughts. It's also inevitable sometimes to have floods. Normally, with or without climate change, you actually face floods and droughts. That's how climate systems operate. Except that what we are facing now is, climate change that is induced by us as humans, and therefore it presents a few complexities here and there.
Research has once again proven to be a sustainable tool of addressing climate-related problems Zambia continues to grapple with. Mary Kasoka for Climate Check.
Zinanga ndine Bright Mulimbika kuno Kanyama wa 13 mtamba programu ya Climate Check.
Now imagine if trees could provide Wi-Fi. Just how many trees you would plant? Well, they provide oxygen. We definitely cannot do without it. Destruction of nature, such as forests, has led to irreversible climatic changes to our world. Join me as I talk to policy formulators, change makers, and climate change interest groups on Climate Check, weekly on this channel. Now you are the solution to climate change. This is Climate Check, and of course we have come to the end of this episode, and I am really touched by what I found here in Kanyama, and this is replicated in other places like Kalikiliki and Misisi compounds of the capital city of Lusaka. And of course, concerted efforts and collaborative efforts are needed to address this perennial flooding in Kanyama especially, once and for all. And this is why research is very critical, so that solutions are data-driven for the sustainable future of the people of Kanyama and Lusaka city as a whole. Thank you for watching Climate Check. Goodbye and God bless.